to, I believe, what's going to be the last Netgalley November vlog. I just finished another book, even though it's like 12:30, so it's just barely Monday. I'm not super sleepy. I've got one of my occasional bouts of insomnia going on tonight. But earlier tonight, I started Barbarian's Choice, which is book 12. Yeah, 12 in the Ice Planet Barbarian series. This is Farley's book, and it was so great. We actually get to touch base with like the origins of their people before they were Sakui. It's the people that they were before. There's a small like freight ship that ends up having to land because they have to do some repairs, and Farley comes across the mechanic, and he's also like a former soldier, and the PTSD that he goes through is really interesting. And Farley, just being Farley through the whole thing was amazing. I really loved the charm and the sweetness and the love and desire between the two of them through this book. Ruby's really great at that. And yeah. So before I jump into Beck's book, which is next, I think I'm going to take a break and work on a few of my exciting arcs.
Hey friends, so it's now later in the day on Monday. I am about to head in to the Dragonsteel Mini-Con. That's happening today and tomorrow. I am working with Barnes at this event, so we'll be selling a bunch of Brandon's books. It's going to be a really fun time. I'm really excited. This one's going to be, a long-ish shift from 1 to 8. I don't know if we'll be sitting. I don't know anything really. I'm really excited. I've got my pass here, which whoever did the design on these, like, kudos to you. These look fantastic. We also got the lanyards, which is super cool. I'm very excited about that. Anyhow, so yes, that's what I'm going to be working on work-wise the next couple of days. Reading-wise, I'm almost finished with Shadow Study. There's a good chance I'll finish that like tonight on my way home. I don't remember exactly how much I have left in it, but it's getting towards the end of that book. Ties are starting to wrap up to lead into book 2 from my memory, but again, it's been years. So they all kind of blend together after a certain amount of time. And then I have started reading Electric Idol by Katie Robert. So yeah, that's the deal there. I am very, very excited to be working Dragonsteel Mini-Con. If I can take B-roll, I will. But yes, I will share my thoughts with you probably tomorrow. It'll be dark by the time I get out of there tonight, so I have no idea. But with that said, I will chat with you guys later. Hello. So it is Tuesday evening, as you can tell by the lighting here in my car. I am headed home from working at the Dragonsteel Mini-Con. I did work both days. I worked the floor the whole time we were open yesterday from 1 to 8, and then I worked from 10 to 5 today. Well, more like 5:15. I was waiting for my coworker to get there and parking is kind of a joke near the convention center. All of it took place at the Utah Valley Convention Center. I had to park 2 blocks away, and so I'm just barely back to my car and things like that. So I want to talk a little bit about my experience working the event. First off, Brandon's staff and team were nothing but generous with the people who were guests. We were considered a guest because we were Barnes & Noble. We were invited to sell books while we were there, and it was amazing. Our booth did really, really well. By the time I left, we had done a pretty penny in the 2 days. So they're going to go for a couple more hours before Brandon's Cytonic event actually starts. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that goes. I'm interested to hear the numbers when I get back to work on Friday. So I've not been at my store the last 2 days. Other than really quick Monday morning to pick up a couple things before I had some other appointments and whatnot. So anyways, things were good. All of the people attending the event were great. Most people were wearing masks. I loved seeing all the cosplay. I didn't take too much B-roll over the last couple days just because I didn't feel it was my place as a Barnes & Noble worker to take all the B-roll of everyone at the con. It would be different if I were attending the convention, I think, rather than working the convention. I didn't want to impede on people's enjoyment, things like that. So, anyways, I had a great time. Like I said, Brandon's team and staff were more than generous. Like, they catered for the guests. Like, we were provided breakfast, lunch, and dinner both days. Like, it was fantastic. They were very generous, very kind. When I took my dinner last night, Brandon actually happened to be in the room at the same time. I didn't want to bother him, obviously. He's been bothered by people all day. But, you know, he's just a normal person, and it's great. And I really had the best time working the event. And I told the manager who's usually in charge of the events, I'm like, if there's ever events like this, please schedule me. This is so fun. I was able to help introduce a lot of people to some lesser known works of Brandon. I was able to sell out my favorite before I left, and things are good. Like, it was so fun. I feel like I'm like riding on a high. Like, it was such a good experience. The convention as a whole, I didn't get to see any panels at all, but that's due to working the event. So I can't speak for the panels, but all of the volunteers and all of the staff were very helpful. Like this morning when I got to the convention center, the manager showed up and she had some books she needed to bring in because we needed to restock some things and we had some requests for certain things from the store. So we pulled all that out this morning. So I just went to one of the staff members and I said, hey, is there any way we can open the receiving door? Because our booth was right by the receiving door. And she had like a whole truck bed. She wanted like a whole, basically pallet full of boxes that she wanted to bring in. And so it just made sense. And so I asked somebody, they're like, oh yeah, let me get right on that. And they were more than generous, more than kind to us. Like, it was fantastic. And they even came around to remind us when meals were, because they wanted to make sure we were taken care of and healthy. They had gluten-free options for people with gluten-free diets and celiac and whatnot. I believe one of Brandon's children has celiac as well. So they wanted to make sure that they were accommodating to that. The catering was served buffet style, so you only took what you wanted, and it was great. I mean, it's catering food, so it's not always great, but that wasn't on Brandon's team at all. I believe, like, it was just the catering from the convention center. They didn't get it from somewhere. So, I mean, it was fine. It didn't poison me. It was fine. It was just kind of in the middle. It wasn't super fantastic, but it wasn't nasty either. So, there's that. But yeah, the convention center was really nice, really clean. They took a lot of sanitation measures all the way around. I felt safe. I had my mask on the entire time unless I was eating or drinking. And most of the guests were wearing masks as well. There were a few that weren't, but the majority of the guests were wearing masks. And that made me feel a whole lot better and a whole lot safer. But yeah, overall as a whole, I felt very in my element, I guess you could say. I mean, I know all of Brandon's work, and that's primarily what we were selling. There were some other authors there, so we did have their works there as well, Brian McClellan, and it was just a really fantastic and positive experience. I had a great time. And if we ever got asked to work Dragonsteel Minicon again, I totally would. Hands down. Okay, so I'm home. I have my copy of Cytonic. We'll be starting soon. I'm very, very excited. This is the third book in the Skyward series by Brandon Sanderson. It's kind of why the big event was happening and all that kind of stuff. But apparently in my mailbox today, there was a box from Source. And they sent me tons of books. So I wanted to go over them with you. One of them is an entire series. And I'm floored that they sent this to me. It's amazing. The first series that they sent me is the Cowboy Wolf series, is what I'm assuming it's called. 7 range shifter series, I guess. So let's see. It looks like I've got Cowboy Wolf Trouble, which is book 1. Cowboy and Wolf's Clothing, which is 2. Wicked Cowboy Wolf, which is 3. Fierce Cowboy Wolf, which is 4. And Wild Cowboy Wolf, which is 5. Y'all know me. I love paranormal. I love a good shifter romance. So I'm really interested to try these out. It's going to be an adventure. But yeah, they sent me the entire series by Kate Ballinger. Which, holy cow. And then the other ones have some new outs and other ones that are just in the box, which I'm really, again, excited about. So I have When a Cowboy Loves a Woman, which is a Credence Horse Rescue novel. This one's out December 28th. So I will try to get to that before that time. Where I'm mostly caught up on Netgalley, that's going to be much more possible. And then I've got Cowboy Fire, which is another one that comes out the 28th of December. So I'll have this one as well, which Firefighter Cowboy. You know me and cowboy romances, guys. It's just a thing, okay? It's just a thing. And then I have one that's out in the end of January, and that is Lucky Chance Cowboy by Terry Ann Stanley. At Big Chance Dog Rescue, everyone can find a forever home, okay? Like, hello. Yes, please. All right, and then there were 3 others in the box. One of them is by an author that I really love, so I'm very excited. So first up, we have Forever My Cowboy by June Faber. I don't know anything about this. This cowboy is about to learn a new twist on family is forever. That's going to be interesting. Next up, I have Hope on the Range by Cindy Madsen. A helping hand is all you need to turn things around. Okay. It's a turnaround ranch novel. Like I said, y'all know me in cowboy romances. It's just a thing. It's a thing I love. Okay? It's so sue. And then last but not least is Love Drunk Cowboy by Carolyn Brown. I love Carolyn Brown's cowboy romances. Her, I forget what it's called. Forever released a series. It was like 6 or 7 books long, and I loved it. So to have another Carolyn Brown cowboy romance that I have not read makes my heart very, very happy. As intoxicating as love can be. Ooh. After high school, Austin Lanier left the sleepy town of Terrell, Oklahoma as fast as her feet could carry her. When she learns she inherited her grandmother's watermelon farm, she just wants to sell the place. Ry O'Donnell has had his eye on the Lanier watermelon farm forever. When he finds out Granny Lanier's city-slicking granddaughter is the one selling, he thinks he's got it made. And, of course, they're going to have a thing. So, city slicker and a cowboy. Like, yes. Yes, all the yes, please. And it looks like it contains another novella called Summertime on the Ranch. It's a Spikes and Spurs novel. So, that'll be fun as well. So yes, thank you to my friends at Source Books for the goodie box. I'm so excited to have a bunch of new things to read. Like I say, I really like paranormal, so I'll probably get going on those pretty quick. And I love cowboy romances. So again,
I haven't been reading much cowboy lately, so I'm ready for some cowboy. So it's gonna be a good time. But I think that's gonna wrap my clips for today. I want to like wind down and just relax tonight and read. So I will chat with y'all tomorrow. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. So my one and only client that I had this morning before my booster shot ended up being exposed to COVID. So that didn't happen. So I've been spending the morning reading some of Electric Idol. I'm about 25% into it now. And I am loving the dynamic between Psyche and Eros. Psyche is just effortlessly kind. She doesn't feel like she fits. She's a plus size gal. She doesn't fit the stereotypical beauty standard. And so she's a little insecure about that and hasn't had too many partners and things like that. Eros, on the other hand, looks like, a golden god and all those things, but has a very heartless mother. Anyways, he had done a job for Aphrodite, his mother, and shown up to this party late. And Psyche happens to run into him in the hall, and she sees he's injured, and so she helps patch him up. And somebody takes a picture, so it becomes this scandal that they're like in a relationship together. So Aphrodite sends Eros to kill Psyche, but Psyche basically talks her way out of it. And now her and Eros are entering a marriage of convenience to keep Psyche alive. And Eros is so attracted to her and being in his head, and just his love of her kindness and how she sees him as a person and not a monster is amazing. I'm loving this so much. They have not even had sex yet. I'm ready for them to bang. Like, I'm ready for it. I'm so ready. But this is really, really good. It feels different than Neon Gods because the dynamic between the couple is different. But I am madly in love with this dynamic. I'm very much looking forward to the future of this series. She's doing amazing things with it. Cannot wait. My normal thicker sweater I accidentally left at the convention center yesterday, so I need to run by my store and pick that up today so that I have it for today and tomorrow. But other than that, I'll just be reading Electric Idol today. And I have one video I need to quickly film and edit and get up, but yes. Anyways, very, very excited. So, quick update. I'm 55% of the way through Electric Idol. I'm madly in love with Psyche and Eros. Like, their dynamic is amazing. I love what Katie Robert has done with this story so far. Their sexual chemistry is off the charts, which they usually are in Katie Roberts' books, let's be real. But, like, the story, they both have insecurities within the relationship for very different reasons. And it's amazing the way that it almost has, like, very vague, like, Beauty and the Beast kind of feels to it, which I'm all about that dynamic anyway. Like, he feels like he's the monster that his mother made him, and she is just herself. She's plus size and amazing. Body confidence is big for her, though she still has some insecurities, as most big girls do. But the way that it is all presented in their sexual encounters is so, so good. Like, Katie Robert, bless you. Bless you for giving us this book, because I'm all about it. And yes, I will probably talk to you once I finish this, but yes, I like this sexual chemistry even better than I liked Neon Gods. Neon Gods was very, like, voyeurism centered, and this one's not. They're keeping it very private and to themselves at this point, and I really like that because they are both naturally very private people, so it makes sense, and I really, really, really love it. Hello. Good morning. Happy Thanksgiving to those here in the US. Otherwise, happy pre-Black Friday to everybody else. So I did read some manga last night and I thought I'd chat with you about it. And Light Song is here all of a sudden. But first up, I did finally get around to reading volume 2 of I Think Our Son is Gay. This was so sweet because you see the mother start to realize things that are going to change in her son's life if he does come out as gay. And he very clearly is. And so she's trying to come around to the idea of what society is going to think of her son, her sweet, amazing son, and the struggles that he may have. He's really quite close with his crush. And so she doesn't know if the crush is oblivious or has similar feelings. We don't know. I hope he has a crush on him too. But I don't know. We'll see. It's really sweet. I'm really excited to see where this one goes moving forward. I think Okura does a really good job in giving the whole perspective on the family and how they see him. The one who seems to make the son the most insecure still is the dad. The brother seems to be okay and the mom seems to be okay. So I will be really interested to see what's going to happen when this boy inevitably comes out to his dad. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. The other one I ended up reading was kind of way on the opposite side, and that is My Lovey-Dovey Wife is a Stone Cold Killer. And this is really quite cute. I really love their interactions. The only thing I don't necessarily love is the art on her. Her curves are too extreme, so they're just very unrealistic. You know, because she's almost like old school Barbie doll proportions where she's huge in the chest, huge in the hips, and the tiniest waist where I would break her in half. So, other than that, like, I really enjoyed the story. I really enjoyed their relationship. It's really sweet. It's really cute. I really like it. So yes, did read this. It was cute. I would read it. If you're interested in it at all, I recommend. So today I've started doing some planning for 25 days of manga. And if I can get a chunk filmed today, because I'm kind of ahead on most of my content for the next little bit. So if I can get a jump start on some of that, it's going to be something that I could potentially do if I take each day off and film a few, if I can get a bunch done today. So I think that's going to be my plan for now. So yeah, I need to actually finish getting ready for the day. I haven't done anything with my hair or anything yet. Or done makeup, obviously. But I'm dressed. But yeah, I think I will do some pre-filming today, and then I can just work on editing that in my time around my work shifts and things. So, okay, so I just ended up filming a video where I read these 3 volumes of manga. So when that's out, I will leave it linked in the corner. But I'm not going to say too much about them here because I do have a dedicated video for them. So yeah, it was Young Girls Don't Play Fighting Games, Osan Idol, and DNA Doesn't Tell Us. So yeah, I've gotten those read today. Now I need to focus on Electric Idol. Okay, so I just finished Electric Idol by Katie Robert, and it was fantastic. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Great plus size heroine rep. She's got body confidence and is very confident in her looks, but she obviously still has some vulnerability and insecurities around new people with all of that as well. And she's helping things change in Olympus with designers and stuff because she's an influencer. But her and Eros have the best chemistry. I really love them. Like, there's even a hint about Beauty and the Beast in the end. So that was Katie Roberts' intent with this, which is why I'm madly in love with it. I think I like it more than Neon Gods. So, yes, 10 out of 10 would recommend. Cannot wait for you guys to all read it because it is so, so good. So I'm not sure if I'm going to start Annihilation Road tonight or not. We'll see. I might actually film after dinner because we're going to eat here in a little bit. and we'll see how things go. Okay, so I've officially finished Night Study by Maria V. Snyder. It's late Friday night, by the way. I really enjoyed it. I really like being with Yelena and Valak. And so all I have left is Dawn Study. I'm really looking forward to finishing this off probably this weekend. Work was good today. I did some pre-filming for December and spent some time with my husband tonight, and then started working on some catch-up projects that I'd love to get done that could turn into content for December. So that's going to be my focus for the next little bit. And yes, so I'm going to jump right into Dawn Study. Book-wise, I don't know if I'm going to pick up anything else this weekend. If I do, it'll most likely be Annihilation Road, which is the next Christine Feehan book that I've got. So that's what it's feeling like right now. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow when I know more, because I'm tired. I don't know how to feel about the information I got from this volume. We're getting pieces of information that I didn't know that I needed, and we're also getting a backstory I didn't know that I needed. But with pieces of information we got in the last volume, that makes sense. I know I'm speaking super vague, but I'm 33 volumes into a series. I'm not going to spoil it for people who haven't read it. But though I'm starting to understand why we're getting certain pieces of information, I still love the series, and I wouldn't change that about the series. I just want to know why I need this piece of information now. Like, I understand parts of it, but I don't others. So it's just really interesting. I'm really looking forward to what's going to happen in future volumes. This one didn't leave on a big cliffhanger or anything, but I definitely left this volume wanting to know more and looking forward to the next volume. So that's all I have to say for now without totally spoiling things. So yes. I also decided to read volume 8 of Fly Me to the Moon tonight, and I really like what's happening between Nasa and Tsukasa. They're starting to grow and evolve. We finally meet Tsukasa's guardian before she gets married to Nasa. That was a really interesting plot line for me. And they go on their honeymoon. There's lots of hot springs. And then we meet another new character as well. So we get 2 new characters in this volume. And I do think that they will add some little things to the series, and it's going to be great. I'm really intrigued and looking forward to the next volume of this one. It's been a series that I continue to love all the way through. Yeah, like they're just adorable, and I love them whole bunches.
Hello, good morning, happy Sunday. So I'm headed to work. I do have to work today, so I'm not going to get nearly as much reading done as I wanted to this week, but I did get started on Annihilation Road by Christine Feehan. Now, when it comes to Christine Feehan, most people aren't going to like this particular Torpedo Inc. series. If you like dark and taboo and you can handle kind of insta-love or insta-connection kinds of stories, they usually do question it and try to push away from it, but they always end up drawn back to one another. Then I think you can handle these. But this particular one is Savage's story, and Savage is a sadist and has very dark tendencies in his sexual preferences. So this 2-book compilation is definitely not going to be for everyone. Christine Feehan has an intro right at the beginning of the book warning you about, his sexual proclivities, which we've seen glimpses of in former books. It's really interesting. I really like his partner. She's French. Both of her parents have passed away. She's a singer. And that's how, the way he comes across her, like, this is in the first chapter, so this isn't a spoiler. But basically, all of a sudden, he sees this kid about to get hit by a truck. So he lays down his bike, and he takes off to chase the kid. And the whole time, he's like, I'm not going to make it. I'm going to end up hit. I can protect the kid. I'm a big guy. And all of a sudden he gets an extra burst of momentum because something slams him in the back. And it was Seychelle. She pushed him out of the way and took the hit from the truck. The truck was mostly slowed down, so it wasn't fatal. She did have some injuries and some scarring. And she's naturally a giver in her personality. And you can tell that right off the bat. But one thing that you see, and being a person who's naturally kind of a giver myself, I just realized my seatbelt wasn't on. I should fix that. But being someone who's naturally a giver myself, I really resonate with her as a character. And Seychelle really does. One thing she noticed is both of her parents were sickly and ill, and that's why they've both passed away. Her mom when she was very young, and her dad about 2 years before the start of the book. And she felt so drained after her dad had passed away that it took her like a month to recover. So she physically basically ends up drained from giving so much of herself to people. And she naturally has a very calming presence, which obviously Savage resonates with. He can put his demons to rest when he's around her. And there's only been one sexual encounter in the 30%. So most of it's been pretty platonic at this point, which I'm actually really okay with, because I know things sexually are going to escalate as the story goes. But one thing she notices at one point in something super innocent is that she realizes that Savage is giving back energy subconsciously to her. And so he's not draining her like most people do. And she's not ever really like been sexually attracted to anybody before and things like that. And so like already their dynamic is fantastic. But Christine Feehan is Christine Feehan. She writes a certain way. Not everybody's going to get along with her writing. And that's okay. Like, I love her writing. But I also have gone through some really scary and dark things myself. And that led me to finding her books. I found her books at a point in my life when things were really, really dark. And I related to the women who brought light into men's lives. And that's just a trope that Christine Feehan writes really well for me. I really enjoy it. So it's one of those things where not everyone is going to get along with her books, and that's fine. I understand that. So whenever somebody says, I didn't like it, I'm like, that's fine. Not everyone's going to. I don't expect everyone to like some of my favorites, and that's okay.
Good morning. I took a shower last night. My hair is like all sorts of crazy. I will fix that before I leave my house today. But anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about what I've read since we last chatted. So I did read Mint Chocolate Volume 4 last night while I was in the bath. And again, I solidly really enjoy this series. And, you know, they didn't become step siblings until they were well into high school. They had crushes on each other before they were step siblings. So I really am okay with this kind of a dynamic. And it's set up very clearly from the beginning. And the only reason why they're keeping it a secret is revealed in this volume, or at least why the guy wants to keep it a secret. And so it's good. Like, I'm really enjoying it. I feel like progress was made with the couple within this volume. And again, that just made it more enjoyable for me. I really like the series. I know not everyone's okay with the step sibling trope, but Volume 4 sealed the deal for me. I wasn't sure after Volume 3. I'm like, I'm going to give this one more volume and see how I feel. But I'm feeling much better about it at this point. So I'm very much looking forward to the future of the series. The other thing I did last night is I got up to about 65% of Annihilation Road. One critique I have of this particular book is I feel like parts of this story, the couple is talking around in the same circle and repeating the same phrases. And I almost wish it was edited a little more. Again, this is an advanced reader copy. I don't know if the final copy will have some of that condensed down. I have no idea. But that is one thing I'm noticing, where I haven't noticed that so much in other Feehan books. I am noticing it in this one. So I don't know if it's just because we need to establish things and she wants to make sure she's very clear and that's why that's going on. I have no idea. So from there, I'm just really enjoying myself. It's a good time. We're about to enter like the big sexual moment. So I probably won't check back until I finish this one. I'm hoping to get it finished today so I can get this vlog up to you guys tomorrow. Yes, you'll get vlogs 2 days in a row, but I have been doing some prep for 25 days of manga. I'm going to try to do it. You're at the very least going to get a short a day, but the goal is to get as many videos out to you guys in the 25 days as I can, while also making sure I read a manga a day. So with that said, I've got some reading to do, so I will check back with you soon.
Hello! So it's time for the final clip of this vlog, and that will give me time to get everything wrapped up for you. I just finished Annihilation Road. So I do know that the next book in the series, Savage Road, which is their story part 2, is going to get a lot darker. So if you have triggers, definitely avoid Savage Road. I mean, this one, you're dealing with some triggers as is. And I felt like some of the storylines wrapped up well enough that you don't necessarily need to read the next book. And I think she did that on purpose, because she mentioned in the introduction to Annihilation Road that you didn't have to read both. You could just read one or the other. I do plan on reading Savage Road. This one, again, I feel like it just needed a little more editing, so I'm hoping the final copy has some of that repetitiveness pared down a little bit. I can't say for sure, though, obviously. When you're getting an advanced reader copy, usually it's close to what's going to print, but, you know, they very easily could have filtered some of that out or uploaded the wrong file. So it's hard to know. But the story of Seychelles and Savage is very much an interesting one. And the way he's slowly introducing her to his way of having sex is working. I think it's going at a nice, slow enough pace where you don't feel like he's just going from 0 to 60. And that was something I was worried about. So I'm glad that it wasn't doing that. But, oh, there's skunk on the road. The smell, yuck. Anyway, that was a little side note. But that's part of living where I live. They're just skunks. So, losing my train of thought. The way that Seychelles and Savage have this frantic connection to one another is very compelling and interesting to read. Not very realistic. I mean, very few people have that sort of a compulsion for a person. My husband and I knew really fast that we were right for one another, but that is not most people. And especially considering Seychelles is fairly young. She's in her mid-20s. The fastness, the pace of their relationship was overwhelming to her. And so that is brought up multiple times throughout the book, which I genuinely appreciated, because they were going fast, especially by most people's standards, considering she'd never really had a serious relationship and she's a giver by nature, that things were going very fast. And that's just how it is with all the Torpedo Inc. guys. They go from not wanting a woman, they find the woman they want, and that's all they want. And they will do everything in their power to win them over, and that takes time sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't. If the woman, likewise, come on, girls, feels the same. Oh, goodness. Good thing this is the side I usually tuck. I do like and appreciate that he very much encourages her to make friends with other women. He doesn't want to like take all her friendships away. He wants her to have a support group of people that he knows, but he wants her to still have a support group so that if for some reason he went too far, she had people that would keep her safe from him. And like he talks to his motorcycle club president right in the very beginning, and they make a deal that if he goes too far, he's gone. Like, they will not tolerate it. And that is something that Torpedo Inc. is always... The Torpedo Inc. books have always been very clear about, is they draw a line in the sand. There's no abuse. There's no rape. That's not what they do. And, you know, in some of the earlier books, they focus on taking down, like, child pornography rings and things like that. In this one, we're dealing with 2 stalkers. Christine Feehan likes to address those things in having a hero help our heroine get out of those situations. Seychelle has basically gotten out of them mostly for herself at this point, which is great, except for the final one at the end. And she's gotten help from Torpedo Inc. and Savage along the way, but she's mostly handled the main conflicts by herself, and it's been great. I really enjoy it. Anyway, thank you so much for checking out this vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you're new to the channel, I would love it if you would subscribe, click the bell, you know all the things. And yes, so with that said, the next videos you'll be seeing are 25 days of manga videos. There will be some vlogs sprinkled throughout, so you will still see vlogs, but they'll probably be farther and fewer between with strictly what I've been reading in between them, because it's the holiday season. Work is gonna get crazy, and yeah. So I love you guys. Thanks for always being supportive of these vlogs, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.